Here we go. Hi, everyone. I just would love to say hello and good afternoon. At least it's afternoon here in New York. If you are able to hear me and see me, can you just press yes on your chat room, which I'm able to see you guys. So just, let me know that, yeah, you can hear me. No, I'm talking to myself. Hi, Nicholas. I'm from Santiago, Chile. Oh my God, I'm dying to go there. So just wanted to say hello to everybody. We have about 20 attendees. I'm going to give you guys like another second. So all guys said yes, thank you. So you're letting me know that, yes, you can hear me. Great. So I wanted to, first of all, like my little disclaimer. Thank you. Hi, Ree. Hello, hope you're feeling better. My little disclaimer, like always, this is not an Airbnb sponsored event. Airbnb knows that I exist. And I'm actually, you cannot hear me, Maria. You want to change your, check your stuff. Let me just then put my headphones in, then you could. I should come. Can I stay at your space, Nicolas, in Chile? Love to go, definitely. All right, so everybody can hear me. And my disclaimer is this is not an Airbnb sponsor event. They do know about me. I'm actually going to, I'm working out to have the head of hospitality on one of my webinars, Mr. Chip Conley, and hopefully we will have that in May. So next month, please be ready. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Hillary. Yeah, Maria, you might need to close your browser and reload. Thank you so much, Karen. Other people are a little bit more experts on the internet things. All right, so let's start our webinar for today, which is going to be, I have a small little presentation for you guys, and let me just share it. It's something really simple. I actually did something I just came back from San Diego. I was in San Diego for a business trip, and I stayed at an Airbnb. And what I did was I stayed at a place that he did not have any description. He only had reviews and photos. And it was an interesting experiment that I did. And then from there, I was thinking about, well, how can I give you my lesson of what I learned, because it was really a good lesson to learn. So we're going to talk about your listing and the information that you provide to your guest. It's not like you're able to talk to your guests person to person and your personality doesn't come across. So, and guys, I don't know if you hear this construction going on nearby, it seems, and of course, they decided not to close down the construction. San Diego was amazing. It was fantastic. It was a little bit cloudy the first couple of days, but the last 2 days, I caught some sun, which is why I'm so nicely pink. And the house was a learning experience. And I'm going to tell you just exactly what happened. So he had no description, no house rules. The interesting part is, no, you cannot see me because you're seeing the presentation. The interesting part was that as soon as I walked in, he had a ball lighter and I don't know how do you call it, a pipe for 420. And I mean, there's a balcony, but I was sort of like, oh my God, are you allowed to smoke in the place? I didn't ask that question, but there were questions that were coming through my head because he has, like I said before, no house rules, no descriptions. And he also had no guidebook in the house. There was no information for me to go through or sort through. And he had to check in and check out flexible. But mind you, he's been hosting, he has over 50 people that he reviews. They were all pretty good. And it wasn't a horrible experience. Will I go back there again? No. It's not my kind of place. There was a little bit too many stairs to go up to my room and things like that. And he could have done, by a very small investment, he could have like totally improved the place. So let's go to today's presentation, and we're talking about the listing, which is how you get your customers and you get your guests and you get your visitors home. So the headline has to be catchy, and I hope you get that from the cactus. Um, so once you have this catchy headline, it's what click brings in the people. Your headline, you say like someone had like Studio B or something like that. It's just not really telling anybody anything about your space. um, if you have a private bathroom and you have a shared space where it's like it's a private bedroom but you have a private bathroom, I feel that you should have that as part of your headline, because private bathroom trumps anything else. um and just to let you know, it's just really really important. And I had my private bathroom in this place that I was in San Diego. And he didn't have it in his headline. He just had other stuff. So your headline, let it capture a little bit of the essence of what you're providing, but let it be also a little bit informative, like, if it is a private bathroom. All right. Your description, let it, one of the great things is that you can play with your description. Do not create a whole long description where it's a book to read. Because your guess, it gets a little bit overwhelming. And you could use some of your reviewed words into your description and into your messaging. So let's say your guests say something to the effect of comfortable, sunny, excellent. This, you could use those words on your description. And in that line on about, please, that is great real estate on your Airbnb headlines. It's like, because you have the headline first, then you have the photo, and then the next thing that a guest sees is that about line. And that is great real estate to have on your, before going into the description. A person will go into it and just read a little something about you without, what I have on mine, it says comfortable, warm, beautifully designed, and safe two-bedroom vacation rental apartment for you. And then I have read the over 100 positive reviews and your Brooklyn home away. It's very simple, very small. But remember, the first thing you guys see is photos. The next, right below the photos is, whether it's an entire home, how many guests it fits, what was spacing, your photo, and the little thing, and then about this listing. That's how important it is. Please do not leave it blank and don't do anything with it. Okay? Now, your next thing to do is please remember cleanliness. He had just had guests that had left, and the place could have taken, just wiped the furniture. If you clean way before, like a couple of days before your guests are to arrive, you will collect dust. So what I tend to do, like today I have guests arriving from Thailand, and my dear friend had cleaned before, but today I just did a little wipe down because there's dust on the tables and things like that. So please, remember cleanliness is huge. It's one of the biggest things. Thankfully, the place was pretty clean and I didn't feel like eek. House rules. You need to tell your people what to expect. What is good? What is bad? Can you smoke in the place? Can you, bring visitors in? Can you bring overnighters in? All of this other stuff, it's very important for you to tell your guests what is it, how can they function in your house. He didn't have any, but it kind of worked, and he was very accommodating, especially about the checkout time, and I was appreciating of that. Your check-in and check-out. You guys should not have an information. I should not have questions about the process to check in and check out. You when you communicate with your guest, once they booked the space, send them a little bit of a detail of like, hey, this is the process. And then send it again about a week or 2 weeks before they arrive. So you're clear, they're clear, and they don't have questions about your check-in and check-out process, all right? I know we've talked about this, but this is really important. So now let's go to why you're here. You're here to hear about questions, right? So let me start getting your questions. And I'm sorry, my chat room. One of the questions, Hanoli, I'm sorry, I'm killing your name. Hannelore. Hanover. All right. How do you handle if a potential guest wants to inspect the place? Usually if they book for a relative who's coming to town. I actually get a lot of that. I'm always surprised because I feel like between my photos and my reviews and description is pretty clear the space they're getting. I do allow it. I don't have a problem with it. I do tell them beforehand, look, if you're coming to see the space, please note that any transaction will go through Airbnb. It's not like, because they do say they come in and they're like, oh, well, I could just do it and not have to pay or pay off the system, which you do not want that. You want it to still go through Airbnb. So I do allow it, but you have to feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable, you could always tell them, well, what kind of questions do you have? What's the reason for you to wanting to come to see the space? I really don't feel comfortable about it until you're booked or anything like that. But you have to understand, people are coming to your house. They don't know you. Some of them are totally brand new to Airbnb, and they just don't have an idea of what to do. So they have questions about this. All right. So that's no, Airbnb does not allow giving out addresses, but there's always ways for you to work it out. I have a front photo of my house. I tell them, my streets and the cross streets. And I'm like, you could find me, because you could find me. Yeah, kind of scary, but you could find me. So, but the question is to you, Anna and Lori, how do you feel about that? Yeah, Christy says, I'm good with family in town checking in, but someone at night coming to see the space, you don't trust it. Yeah, you don't want to feel in danger. Your safety is huge and important. So you want to make sure that you feel secure about who's coming. But I do get tons of it, especially like weddings, graduations. They're booking for their parents. It's their first time booking. They want to make sure that what you have in your photos is true. All right. Do you guys have any more questions? Because I am not seeing any more on the chat, unless my chat is not up to date. So another question was, should I accept cash? No, don't get off the system, or at least not. All right, I'm going to out myself here. What I do is the first time a guest comes to my house, it goes through Airbnb, or another site that I'm on. I do not accept cash. I like them to come in through the system, just for protection and everything else. If they're great guests, and we have exchanged information and I would like them to come back in, I will, I do allow them to come out of the system. It's like, for me, it's like, yeah, sure, come on down. And, I have guests that have come once a year, and some of them go back through Airbnb for their own sake. Others, I'm like, it's okay if you don't. So that's the only time I go out of system, is once already a guest has been in my house. All right. So, just think about it like that. So Ree's asking, in the city, highlighting local transportation in listing gets bookings. Yes. People, one of the biggest questions, and you have to remember, guys, people do not read. People do not read descriptions. It's it gets very overwhelming. I don't know if you, as a host, has ever tried going and looking for a space to stay within the listing, within Airbnb. Once you start, like, I'm going to Paris for the convention, and I'm looking, and it becomes like, oh, what's this place and what's this place? Oh, you're looking at pictures and some reviews and pictures and some reviews, and then once you start narrowing down, it go into the descriptions. But it's overwhelming. It's a lot of information. At least I don't remember stuff like that. Reese asking if you don't have a private bath, what's the most important thing to put in the headline? I would say, put something like, is it clean, or is it sunny? Is it safe for families? A lot of people worry about safety, rightly so. I mean, you're coming to a different country, so definitely put something like that on your headline and look at other people. All right. Christy, you're saying that you collect city tax in cash. My taxes included in your nightly rate. I will put that in your description. I would definitely, if you're legal and you have, some people have licenses and things like that, I would put that could give you some good real estate into a guest coming to your space that knows that you have done all the legalities and you're within the fold of Airbnb, and not be an illegal Airbnb. Within the San Diego trip, there was another person I went for a conference, and the person that she's been a guest on Airbnb, and she came to New York, and the host was like, oh, can we not meet in front of the house? Can you say you're my cousin? So there was, she did not like it. She's done Airbnb before, and thankfully she will do it again. So if you are legal, if you have a license, if you collect taxes, if you submit taxes and all of that other stuff, please do say it on the description. I think it will be a good thing for you guys. Well, yeah, that I understand the collecting the cash for the tax in cash, because what happens is this: Airbnb will send it to you as a 1099. So you're gonna pay double taxation on it. Not only do you pay, let's say your room is $100 a night, and your taxes is $10 a night additional. But if you put it on your price of the room, Airbnb is going to say you made $110 a night on that space, and the 1099 is going to reflect not only the $110 a night, so it's going to include your taxes, which is not money you collect. I mean, it's not money you made. And then you're going to take that $10 a night and send it out to the government. So you're paying income tax on your sales taxes, and I don't think that's great. I mean, and I know Airbnb is working. It's really a hard system for them to do. I know that they're doing it in a few cities. I believe in San Francisco they're collecting taxes, in Portland they're collecting taxes. I know in New York, the law of New York would not allow it. All right, so that's a little bit yeah, exactly, Karen. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say, if and also talk to your accountant. I hope you all have a really, really good accountant. Tax season is gone, but it'll come again. So talk to your accountant and ask them, how is it that you're supposed to, how can you go about collecting it? Can you collect it in cash and then submit it out? What will be the best way? I'm a new host and there are almost 2,000 listers in your city, Olga. All right. So Olga, what happens is this. Airbnb is sort of like a dating site. Once when you go up on an online dating site, your picture comes up right away, and you get a lot of people say, hey, are you cute? Are you pretty? Same thing with your listing. It's the new kid on the block. So they push it up to the front page for you to get inquiries and things like that. How people come and see you more is reviews and photos. Go to your calendar every day. Be active within your listing. Just don't let it sit there and not go into it and see the calendar, because the account going to see your calendar every day brings you up in the algorithm. If you're brand new, your price should be lower than your competition. So you could also do one night rentals. So like that, you start building reviews. Reviews it's the key on Airbnb. And there's a lot of guests that, they try you out if you don't have any reviews. I haven't done that one yet. No, yeah, actually I did. I tried out a place in Washington, D.C. and it was great. No problems. I was her first review, and I was sort of like, let me try her out. Because everybody has to do it anyway. So Karen, I'm sorry, that was Christy. So do that. Danielle is asking, which other sites am I on? I am on FlipKey as well, only for one of my listings. The private apartment that sleeps 6 people is on FlipKey. It's actually generating a lot of reservations, enough reservations that it's interesting. It's a little bit more complicated just because then you have to, the Airbnb site, you have to make sure that your calendar is up to date. So if you are on Flipkey, on VRBO, or HomeAway, on Booked.com, there's Gate Booking, there's so many, and I'm gonna do a blog post about it, about all the different listings and what to do and how they work. You have to always make sure that your Airbnb calendar is up to date. The other sites, the Flipkey site takes the information from the Airbnb, and whenever I get a booking on Airbnb, it already blocks those days on their calendar. All right. So I got a booking on Airbnb, Flipkey comes and blocks those days. Airbnb doesn't do that. Airbnb is sort of like, I'm the queen of the site, and I'm not going to do that for you. So you have to make sure that your Airbnb calendar is up to date. And if you have any inquiries, if you have any bookings, that you block those days on Airbnb. It is a pain. And that's the only reason why I'm only in another site. And also, I get most of my booking from Airbnb, so I don't have a problem with that. So someone is asking me, when do I up my money if I'm not getting booked? You don't up your money, not yet. You just, if you're not getting bookings, if you're not getting traction, after 10 reviews, then you could start upping your money a little bit, where there's adding a cleaning fee, adding a second person charge, up it by $5, and just see how it works out. There's a lot more competition right now. So look, Kelly Montoya, how can I keep my listing at the top of the search page? If I knew that, I would be a millionaire, because that's like, they have this, who knows where the algorithm and how the algorithm for Airbnb actually works. I am sometimes on the first page, and there are times that I'm not. The times that I'm buried somewhere else. What happens is this, what you have to remember is, if you, let's say, for example, right now my May is booked. Anybody looking for May, and the more search activity there is, they don't see my space because it's not going to come up, because I don't have availability. So the more booked you are, the more you go down on the list, on the searches. All right. But you will come up again. Like, let's say if I have availability, they're looking for August, I'll come up in that searches a little bit up, in the front pages, but not really. More than today, my list is lower than 7. For more, I update my calendar. This is Olga. I update my calendar every day, but still for more than 10 days, my listings is lower than 7 and 8 page. What are the other listings like? Do you do any market research? Do you look at their listings? Do you look at how many reviews they have? Do you look at the descriptions, their headlines, and just see, be active on it. All right. So what else do we have? How can we search? There was another question about someone. I'm sorry. Someone had asked me something else, and I'm trying to get it and I cannot find it. I mean, guys, if you have more questions, we still have like 6 minutes more to talk about this. And, I appreciate everybody that did the survey that I had requested from before. I appreciate all your responses. I'm working on some materials because of it, and things like that, just in what I'm going to be giving you in the future, reference of webinars, and just create also more, bring some guests to come and talk to you guys, and actually create some host stories. No, Karen is asking, if I lower my cleaning fee, will it lower the fee for my guests that have already booked? No, it doesn't. Already your booking is your booking, and they already paid that money. So it just goes from that forward. Right now I'm struggling, Karen. Christy is asking, with guests requesting to stay who have weird things like wanting pets, kits, and discounts. Okay, I don't accept pets because I have allergies. So, and I mean, if you accept a pet, that is premium. Guys, that is a great thing. People love traveling with their pets. And if you accept them, you could pay, people could pay you more money for that. So you declined them. How many people have you declined though, Christy? Because you're saying your acceptance rate is now 50%, but how many people have you been declining? That's the reason for your acceptance rate. It's not just for one person that you decline. All right. Do you pay tax on your cleaning fee? I don't pay sales taxes or hotel occupancy tax per my accountant. I don't provide the certain things. So in reference of that, I don't. But yeah, I pay income tax on my cleaning fee. It's reported into my 1099. So Chrissy, do you have an instant booking? That you're saying that's what's happening? Or is it that they booked and once you decline, is it a reservation request or is it an inquiry? Okay, so Kelly Montoya said, why, if I put a price of $195 a night per se, why will the listing show us, let's say, 222? Because it includes the cleaning fee. Yeah, unfortunately, what do you do? What you do is, it's like, let's say, your nightly rate is $100 a night and you have a $60 cleaning fee. What it does is they're renting for 10 days. It averages out the cleaning fee. So it's like $106 a night. And that's why the pricing, it's not your nightly rate. Now, one of the things that you always can do is basically also put my search price, my price that shows on the site is just a little bit less than my high season price. And mind you, my high season price, it goes up like $10 than the low than what's advertised. But I have it on my description and I say pricing is seasonal. Okay. Could cleaning fee be an extra services now? I will have to check a little bit more about that. I don't think it is. I think it's just, I mean, they have it in the system already as added onto you, so it is. What if I do nothing? Is it a decline? Don't want to accept them because they seem weird, but I don't want to be punished by Airbnb. You need to answer. You need to answer their correspondence. If you don't do, if that clock goes off the 24 hours, that's what happens with your rates, and your search will go down and things like that. They will penalize you if you don't answer. Look, guys, I have stayed at multiple Airbnbs, and one of the things I hated was you send them emails on inquiry, and Airbnb prompts you to ask, is it available? And the reason is their calendar might be open and they tell me, oh no, it's not available, or they don't even answer. So answering is huge. And look, you're here, you're trying to educate yourself a little bit more, you're trying to learn a little bit more. So this is important to you. My host in San Diego was not important to him. And it showed in the listing, it showed in what he provided and what he's not provided. If you do not allow pets, don't allow them. And you could have it not only on your house rule, you could have it on your description. And yes, people do ask me, hey, can I bring my pet? And I say no. Yes, you could decline an inquiry. You could also just do, I have more questions, so it's not really like a decline. Some people what some people have done is that they put a huge price on like the spatial rate. So like that, the guest will decline it. So let's say, for example, your nightly rate is $100. You don't want to put a decline. You just want to go in and say, oh, it will be $300 a night if you want to bring in your dog. But you want to make sure that it's an amount that's huge. I've never done that. I've always tried to talk to, is saying not available is the right response. It depends on what your conversation was with the person. You could you could tell the person also, I am in communications with other guests and I protect that they came to me first. I will let you know if they don't book. That's it. You know, so you don't have to feel like, oh, it's not available, because the place, if the calendar days are not blocked and it's not available per se, then why is it open? Okay. Something pulls down my response rate. I don't know why your response rate is pulled down. How often do you answer your inquiries? You're saying you always answer, but how quickly do you answer them? And I'll do some questions to Airbnb directly to ask them what's going on with the acceptance rates, because everybody's questioning that. It seems like people are having issues with it. A bunch of different declines will bring your acceptance rate down. It just happens. Um, so that's one of the biggest things. Okay, I mean, and you got to remember the response rate is basically one of the things that, this, how often do you respond, and then how often do you accept people. You don't have to accept everybody. Pet fees, Marie, pet fees, yes, charge extra for pets. Then you could use them as an additional guest, so you could use them on the site with the additional amenities and in charge. I answer my inquiries within the hour. So I don't know what's going on with Christia. We'll have to say, we'll need to look you up a little bit more and see what is going on with your ratings. Let me see any other questions. Should we ask the guest to cancel? Yeah, you could do that too. I've done that in the past. I actually had to cancel a guest, and he was already booked and he was about to come, and I needed to cancel him, and I asked him to cancel me directly. I refunded him not just all his fees, but also the Airbnb fees that he got charged. And actually even sent him like an additional $40 for helping me out, because it was an inconvenience for him. So yeah, look, you don't want to cancel anybody, because that not only cancels your superhost possibility for that quarter, but it lowers a lot of different things for you, and Airbnb will penalize it. Okay. So remember, I don't look at response rates or acceptance rates when I'm looking for an inquiry. That is one thing that I'm not looking at. The things as a guest that you look are photos, reviews, description. It's not, I'm not looking about whether a person is a superhost. I'm not looking at their acceptance rate. I'm not looking at the response. I mean, I might look at the response rate, because I do want them to have a response rate of at least over 90%, because if not, it means like, oh, they're never answering their stuff. Okay. I actually was going to be doing a whole thing about the calendar. My discussion was going to be calendar, but I think there will be another webinar, because there's some changes on the calendar, and I hope you're adjusting you using that. If you go to your calendar, and you see there's a little gear on the side of, you have your, on the dashboard, it says setting. If you click in there, you're going to be able to see a bunch of different things that you could use now, which are great. And I actually wanted to talk about that, but it will be on another webinar. We will talk about the different improvements that Airbnb does, and they don't tell you what that they're doing. Can a guest post a recommendation anytime, or does it expire? I believe they can. I believe they can still do it later on, but I will try to double check that, Lisa, because I'm not really sure about it. There's some talk about Airbnb having issues with Apple products, iPhone, iPad. Best is to check on your computer versus smartphone. I never had problems with Airbnb on my iPhone or my iPad or anything like that. I've never, I mean, maybe check browsers instead of just your equipment. So Airbnb works a lot better with Chrome than other browsers and things like that. So that might be an issue. But I also use my computer a lot instead of anything else. Oh, somebody got canceled, a client. That happened to me. I had a guest that was arriving yesterday, and he canceled yesterday. He did not really ask for money back. And what I said to him was like, look, because he was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make it and stuff like that. And what I said to him was, look, if you cancel and I get rebooked, I'll refund you. If I don't, I'm not, because that's it. Yeah, it is up to you, Jim. It is up to you if you want to refund them. I have refunded people because emergency happens. I've gotten people that tell me that they've had a death in the family, or they have an illness, or something happened. And I do work with them. I figure, like, look, if you're gonna lie to me and tell me that you have cancer because you or a family member had cancer or something happened, it's horrible like that, because you want your money back and you want to fool me, I'm like, well, it's on you. And normally what happens is when a guest cancels on you and Airbnb realizes that you behave nicely, they actually put you up on the algorithms so that those days get booked. All right. So do know that Airbnb notices things, and they even send you little gifts. Go figure. So yeah, I mean, it is up to you. I mean, how far ahead is the cancellation? How many days do you want to have? You know, if you were him, if you were her, Jim, you know, how would you want to be treated? And think about that. And believe me, I know for me, it's like, this is my business. This is not a hobby. This is how I make a living, which is one of the reasons I don't like booking friends or family, because they cancel and you don't have, you don't have the money to get you. All right, guys, any more questions? It's a 4:36. I just wanted to let you know, if you want, for me to look at your bookings, I mean, look at your listing, look at your headlines, I'm more than happy. I do consultations. They're $95 for the first hour. If you tell me, hey, I spoke to you at the webinar, I will give you a 10-20% discount, 20% discount, just to be generous, because spring is here. So come on over to my site at evelynbadia.com and go into the web, work with me, or send me an email, and we could totally talk. I could go through your description and go through your listings and tell you what's the best photos to put up in front. Your first photo has to be not just the best photo, but it has to have light. It has to be pretty. It has to feel, your space has to feel so homey and everything else. But, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for one more time coming on over and spending half an hour with me on this Wednesday afternoon. This will be replayed. And really, thank you. Remember, you are responsible for somebody's vacation, somebody's trip. For us, sometimes we feel like, oh my God, here they come again. My high season just started, and believe me, I'm already like, oh, do I have to clean more laundry? But we're making a trip. Somebody's vacation is on your hands. So please, act accordingly. It's I know it's a big responsibility. It's sort of like, oh, all right. Yes, the first shot can be an outside shot. And just make it a beautiful shot. Some people have some amazing things that are, that you could do. Okay. So one more time, thank you so much. And, I will see you guys next month. I'm hoping by then I will have a lineup of different guests that want to come and talk to you guys. All right. So thank you, and have a great Wednesday. Bye-bye.